All right. Hey, everybody.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
How's it going? I know how Hoju's doing. It sounds like Noodle said, living the fancy life.
Yeah.
I hope your trip is going well so far. I hope it's not a bad thing that you're in a hotel room watching Twitch and not out enjoying baseball games. But it's good to have you in chat. And you must be in a fancy hotel to have built-in AirPlay on the television. Normally, getting something custom on a hotel television requires like a sacrifice of some sort. It's impossible usually. Maybe some hotels have finally wised up and been like, oh, maybe guests do want to use their own stuff on the televisions that we provide.
Feel like just around the time I finally started reliably putting an HDMI cable in my suitcase, they started building screens into the wall with no access to the ports in the back.
Right, yeah. I don't know if that was necessary to stop people from getting to them. I think it was just what people were doing at the time. So it was just a bad convergence of things. You're leaving for the game in about 20 minutes. Awesome. Well, I hope you have fun. Who's playing tonight?
I gotta show the goods early.
The goods? Oh, the goods.
The goods.
We got the rest of the engagement photos today. I haven't had a chance to look at them yet. I've been busy with work all day, but Stuart took a peek and found a couple good ones, this being one of them. This is a contender for maybe the new starting soon screen. There's a lot of good ones in there that we might swap out the current one with the new one.
Do you mind if I show one that's a little lovey-dovey?
It's a little lovey-dovey, so if you don't like public displays of affection, avert your eyes for a minute.
So I can't show it?
You can show it.
Okay. I like how Buster's like looking up at us, being like, "Aw."
There's good timing on that picture.
It's my guys.
Yeah. Mariners and Brewers. Nice. I assume you're rooting for the Mariners, but whichever team, I hope they win. I hope they all have fun. Everyone is buying ingredients to cook. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, probably busy. Yeah, felt like hell. I bet. But I'm glad you managed to get what you needed. I assumed you managed to get what you needed. I hope you did. They're finally selling the Seattle Steelheads hat. It was their Negro League team. Interesting. Okay. Ooh. That's cool that they're selling it. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm caught up on chat. Cool.
Yay.
Yeah, so those are good pictures. I'll have to take a look at the rest of them, and we'll have to swap out that starting soon screen with something new, because I've used that screen for ages now, and it was just a random picture I took to test out my new camera, so we can do better than that. I think we can use one of the new ones. Didn't manage to get Thai basil. That's unfortunate.
No.
Did I actually say basil? Why did I say basil?
Why did you say basil?
Am I gaining an American affectation on my herb pronunciations?
Maybe.
No, I said affectation either. It's a pronunciation. Anyway, welcome in everybody. We're gonna do some Spanish-style shrimp noodles tonight. Shrimp Fideos, which Mari Spoon calls Spanish noodle paella. I don't know if it's really anything like paella.
Yeah.
In like real terms, but we'll see. We'll see what I've never had this before, so we'll see how closely it lines up when we finish. But it certainly is similar in that instead of rice and toasting rice, it's pasta, and we're toasting pasta. So it should be a tasty recipe regardless. But the paella approximation may just be to help those new to the dish understand what flavors they're getting themselves into. You lost the British Basil years ago.
Yeah.
My Texan is showing. Yes, that could be.
It's literally showing today.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, I'm wearing a shirt from a place, the place I get my flour when I make bread in town. So yes, literally. So we're gonna do that for food, and let's do a beer. I'm doing a new beer I haven't had before. I have had beer from this brewery before, Equal Parts Brewing. It is a pretty can, actually. It's, yeah, there we go. I'm not sure if it is inspired by something or is a reproduction of something, but it's very pretty. Might have something to do with the name, which I'm also not really familiar where the name comes from, so maybe it's related? If anyone knows, please enlighten me. But this is the beer, Equal Parts Brewing. It's a pale ale, not an IPA. It's a hazy pale ale as well, which you don't often see hazy pale ales. You often see hazy IPAs, but you know, the same style, it's just less ABV. So you learned how to change a tire yesterday. Uh-oh. I hope it wasn't in less than ideal circumstances. Thankfully, and this is probably going to change now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm going to just touch some wood here. I've never had to change a tire in an emergency situation. I've only had to change a tire in a non-emergency situation. And that was agreed, not fun. So I would not want to do it in circumstances where I'm on the side of the road.
It's a Big Lebowski reference, by the way, the beer that you are currently having.
Is it really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, so there you go. It shows, again, my lack of movie knowledge.
It's the bowling team that the dude's on, apparently.
Okay, so answer me this. I don't know if you were probably Googling this, so you probably wouldn't be able to easily Google it. Actually, let me pour this first. So some beer companies on their cans will, when they stamp like the lot number and the best consumed by date, they'll also put like a cute little saying on it. Sometimes it's an inside joke at the brewery, I assume, because it makes no sense really. But sometimes it'll be a reference to something in pop culture. And I when I saw the one printed on this can, I didn't understand it, but maybe it is also a Big Lebowski reference. It says, it's a Pomeranian.
I think that's a Big Lebowski reference.
Okay, there you go. It all makes sense now. So there you go. Hazy Pale Ale. It does actually kind of look like an IPA. Again, there isn't very much difference between them visually anyway, so I shouldn't be surprised by that. But definitely hazy, definitely an ale. Cheers, y'all. That's good. And the interesting thing about that one is that it almost doesn't taste like a pale ale. Like, it's 5%, so it's on the lower end. Oh, okay. 5.7%. So it is basically a 6%. It's basically an IPA. Because I was going to say, it tastes like one. It's good, too, because it's very citrusy, like hazies tend to be, so it's a good one. There it is. There's the reference. Cool. Nice. Perfect alignment of, or perfect lineup of lids in the background. Lids. Oh, the lids. Yes, the pot lids. Yeah, I have a stand for them. I actually bought that meaning to put it in the cupboard underneath the cabinet, just to keep them out of sight, but it doesn't really fit with all the pans I have now, so it has to sit on the countertop, and it works okay. One thing I never realized is how dirty things get just sitting out. Like,
existing in a kitchen.
My mom always did all the cleaning, and I realize now how much work that was, because yeah, just things existing, not even just the kitchen, just anywhere, gets dirty just by existing. And so sometimes you have to wash pan lids just because they're dirty. You never used them, but they're just, because they've been sitting there, they've got dirty. It's like, as if normal use cleaning is bad enough, you also have to clean just things sitting out doing nothing. I do not approve of this. It was in thankfully perfect circumstances. That's good to hear. But it was a sign pointing towards, why do I actually need a car in Central Texas again? Why are you, like, I mean, you need a car in Texas, right? I mean, how else do you get around in Texas? Well, if you're in Dallas and Houston, you might have public transportation that's actually decent. Austin, maybe not so much. Kind of need a car in Austin, I would say.
I think Zap is a fan of the Ubers or
Ubers
Lyft, rather.
There is that, yeah, that's true. We did a Lyft the first time in a long time over the weekend so that we could both enjoy Stuart's birthday dinner and I didn't have to worry about driving home. And it was good. we were kind of avoiding them for a while because, well, I won't get into it. There's a whole thing. But anyway, in Round Rock, I have Uber. Yeah, that's true. You can use that. But I also feel like, I mean, well, it depends on your circumstances. They're definitely convenient. I feel like I would feel not as mobile if I didn't have my own car. You know, if I was always relying on Lyfts or Ubers or public transportation, I'd feel like I'd be less mobile. So, I don't know. I like the idea that I can just go out whenever and not have to worry about it. I do think the pic you showed would be a great wedding invitation shot. The one with the three of us, the two of us kissing.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe. I need to see the other photos. There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of contenders for the invitation. You did the math and it's at least $1,900 a year for an object you maybe use twice a week at most. That is a good point too, in that, you know, in this post-COVID world where a lot of people maybe aren't traveling to an office as frequently, if at all, if you're lucky enough to have that flexibility. So yeah, maybe the investment in a car isn't as necessary from a financial perspective. Yeah, because I don't drive as much as I used to. I bought the car before COVID, so, you know, I didn't have that hindsight or insight. But I still am glad I have a car because, again, I just like that flexibility of having it. But good point. Definitely something to consider. I know Stuart has kind of been looking into maybe getting another car, but again, it's the kind of thing like we don't drive that much anymore. So.
Yeah, I've definitely reduced the amount of potentially thinking of getting another car.
My car was thinking of getting an EV.
So hold on, my car was hitting a year and mileage milestone. So yes. I was pondering getting a new vehicle, and my brother got a Tesla right before COVID, and I got a chance to try that out, and it made me be like, oh man, EVs are the way of the future. I would like a car that could drive itself on I-35. And then the last couple of years happened. And I am not getting a Tesla now.
I saw a picture that someone took today.
I know which one you're talking about, and I
sticker.
Don't know if I'll be able to get it up in time.
It's obviously been a popular one. Been making the rounds on the webs. There's a bumper sticker.
I didn't save it.
There's a bumper sticker that someone took a picture of on a Tesla that says, I bought this before I knew how weird the guy was, or something like that. Or how awful the guy was.
I think it was... Yeah, I think it was, I got the Tesla before we knew how awful he was. And it was just funny that it said he.
Yes, it doesn't even make a direct reference. It's just, you know who we're talking about. You know the car. So if you got a Tesla, you'd have to get that bumper sticker.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of money to spend on something that, to Zap's point, we don't often drive much anymore, so...
Yeah, I'm realizing how little I drive now, so... definitely would not buy a new car right now. But also, I don't know, no, I'm not going to be getting a new car imminently. I just mean the electric cars are supposed to be nicer because they have less maintenance and upkeep and stuff. So if they are sitting around, they're not
it's not as detrimental maybe to the maintenance. Yeah, that's true.
I don't like how my car drives currently.
How so?
I have a car that it's a 2007 or so it was right before all the fancy lane assist stuff and everything.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a backup camera.
Right.
And anytime I get in a relatively recent car,
my car,
your car or a rental car or anything, there's just I've missed an entire decade of not even new hot shit EVs, but other stuff.
Yeah, other advancements.
I don't know. I have a really nice car. I shouldn't complain. I got aftermarket CarPlay, so I'm pretty happy.
I think you could get a car that has more advancements on the interior for built-in CarPlay and backup cameras and stuff and safety features. But also, I think at this point, I feel like you have the means to get a car that also drives better, or
Right.
at least more fun to drive, because you kind of have the low-end-ish model of the car you had at
Right.
the time, and so you could maybe
I got
bump
a
up to
four-cylinder.
four-cylinder and a full-size sedan, so it'd
Yeah.
be nice to get something that has a bit more power to it,
Yeah, it's
whether
just
that's an EV or a more powerful gas engine.
EVs are still stupid expensive. I was looking at the new Prius that they announced this year, which is a hybrid, not a electric vehicle. I mean,
It's always been a hybrid.
They have a plug-in version now, but
Yeah.
like the Prius used to be a very dumb car. Like I couldn't get over the dashboard design.
Yeah,
It
I
was
wasn't
like
a fan of the dashboard.
big glossy plastic, a weirdly aspect ratioed screen. It was like a vertical screen that showed nothing but landscape content on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Hoju wants you to be Subaru Bros,
Subaru
which
Bros.
sounds like a video game.
my folks bought a Subaru. They've been happy with it.
Oh, that's right, they did, yeah. Your parents are usually Volvo folks, but they didn't. The Volvo that they usually
They like
get.
they're station wagon folks,
Yeah.
and station wagons have been hard to get, so they like getting crossovers that are low to the ground.
Yeah. And Volvo had a good one, but I guess they didn't like the new one or stopped making it or something.
Something
They
like
switched to Subaru.
Anyways, to wrap up my thought, I was looking at the new Prius for a little while because they completely redesigned it, and it actually
Yeah,
looks nice
like a car now.
But I'm just like, okay, it's slightly more affordable, but I still have the gas engine, like doing all the gas engine wear stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know, it's tough. EVs will be the future. I hope it will be everyone but Tesla. Yes. And like where I've met us before is like $60 there and back. That's still less than your monthly insurance premium. Yeah. It depends how often you do that, but if it's like once in a while that you're spending that, then yeah, considerably more affordable. You bought the base model 2018 Ford Focus. Definitely missed having cruise control going to Dallas. Yeah, for longer drives like that, you need those features. I've really enjoyed, so I have a more recent Honda Civic, and it has some of the, like, what do they call it, adaptive cruise control, which is great for longer drives. You don't have to be quite so, I mean, you have to be paying attention, but you don't have to be quite so intensely locked in, which for me, I always get surprisingly exhausted driving because you are focusing so much. So it eases that a little bit. But anyway, the new Prius looks like a Honda, in your opinion. I haven't seen any recent pictures of the Prius, but it wouldn't surprise me. I feel like that form factor, based on current designs of cars, it kind of naturally fits into that category. And I like the design of, well, not all Hondas, but the Civic hatchbacks I like. So I feel like the Prius probably took a page from that. If you got a nice sized SUV, Stuart, there would be plenty of room in the back for 2 Cocker Spaniels.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
another reason Stuart needs to get a new car, is because currently we use my hatchback to take our bikes everywhere. Well, that's the new Prius?
Yep.
That actually looks even sleeker than a Honda, in my opinion. That's pretty cool looking. I feel like they took more of a page out of Tesla's book than Honda for that design. It kind of has that, the slope on the front reminds me of a Tesla for some reason. I don't know. There is increasing in both severity and frequency of violence on bus and trains in Vancouver and the area. You're happy a vehicle is coming soon. That's not good. I guess maybe it's Canada is the reason why I've not heard anything about that, but that surprises me. 4 years ago, you'd be a silly Billy to be a carless in Central Texas. Yeah. Yeah, but times have changed. And I guess my worry is that, you know, there's already signs that business are pushing back in getting people into the office. So I worry that if you do try to go more carless and then things start reverting back to how they were, you're going to be left in a difficult situation. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Did you hear that Mini Cooper has these very strange circular screens in their car? Like their newest EV has a circular screen in the middle of it.
I didn't hear about that.
And
no.
just where there's a rectangle, they have circle. But
Why circle?
in their new concept car, they're thinking of putting a digital assistant in the car. There's a little doggy. His name's Spike.
Oh, I did see that, yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm worried about that. Do you really need a digital assistant distracting you while you're driving?
Yeah.
Also, how helpful is a digital assistant in your car, really?
No clue.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought they had a circular screen. It might be a rectangular screen inside of a circle. This is last year's model.
That is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would do that. It looks like another steering wheel in the middle of your car.
Cars be weird.
I feel like it's a very, like, 90s inspired design. There were a lot of apps in the 90s that try to do weird things with window shapes, and Circle was very popular for a while. And it quickly fell out of fashion because it just didn't make sense to have this random circle window when everything else is square or rectangle. And so I feel like it's kind of trying to do that.
Okay, last car picture, and then we should start getting cooking.
We'll get cooking.
The reason I'm so... Well, maybe not the last picture. The reason I'm so jazzed about the new Prius is because this
Let me
is...
at least get the oven preheating, because we're going to be using the oven pretty quickly.
This is the dashboard on the old Prius. They put a landscape monitor in it.
I don't remember. I guess I haven't seen a more recent Prius, because I only remember the fact that the control gauges were like in the middle of the car, which is what I never liked about the Prius. I don't remember the vertical screen. That's like a page from Tesla.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So they put this vertical screen in the middle of it. Oh, that's a blurry picture, it looks like. Maybe not.
No, it's not blurry.
I
can make it out.
My video is blurry. They put this vertical screen in the middle of it, but then they cut it into two landscape portions. So the top half is just CarPlay, and the bottom half is your AC controls.
Your interior
and
controls.
It's like, if you were just going to put CarPlay in your car and then have AC controls underneath it, just give us the AC knobs
Give
back.
buttons, yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that they wanted to provide both at once, but why did the interior controls have to be a touchscreen? Yeah.
Yeah, and so and you were right, the speedometer is in the middle of the car.
Yeah, which is what
weird.
I've never liked about this.
And the new one's just,
that's better.
Every other 2023 car. Anyways, I'm not a car person. I'm gonna stop talking about cars now.
Give you buttons and knobs. Yeah, if there's one complaint I have about my car, it's that all the interior controls are touchscreen, which I don't like. Especially since anything outside of CarPlay isn't as responsive and isn't as nice to use. It's laggy and everything, so it's just not fun. So I agree, like, even though it's old school, maybe not as flashy, buttons and knobs make sense in a car. Especially since you're driving too, so you want to be able to like feel the tactile. Anyway, that's a whole different discussion. Let's get started on our shrimp Fideos.
So I don't really want to get into this because there's not much to get into, but I've started listening to the Vergecast because they've been doing discussions about Mastodon.
Yep.
And unrelated to the Mastodon chatter, they were talking about GM potentially taking CarPlay and Android Auto out of their
Oh yes, I did see
new
that.
electric
'Cause they're
cars.
trying to do something more in-house, I think, or using the Google Automotive or whatever as the foundation.
They're using Google Automotive, which is a fork of Android, to make their own custom software because they think that in the future, having control over the software in the car is going to somehow make money for car companies with subscription services, so they can charge you for your heated seats
You're
or something.
taking the pessimistic view of it.
The only selling point they had was if you use the built-in maps, it can route you to a charging station better.
And prep the battery to be more efficient at charging.
Oh, yeah. But, like, all of the...
But that is the only example they
Like,
give.
the phone manufacturers are building that stuff into phones so that you can do it with CarPlay and whatnot.
Yes.
Anyways, during this conversation, Nilay Patel of The Verge, I think he's their chief editor,
Yes.
was like, I have a hot take, but I really don't like CarPlay and just prefer sticking my phone up on the dashboard with a magnet.
Really?
And everybody on the show was like, Neela, you're a madman. And that's literally the topic they started off the next week's episode with, was him being like, we've covered a lot of controversial stuff here. There's a lot of like Apple versus Android, Mac versus Windows, Linux, everything here. We have never gotten more comments than me saying I don't like CarPlay or Android Auto.
I mean, I guess I can kind of see that, but the thing that frustrates me about not using CarPlay is figuring how to mount your phone in the car in a way that makes sense and is actually usable.
Yeah, they kind of got to the root of the matter, and it sounds like he had one weird car where it was like that was the only place that made sense, and something like that. But it was just funny because his other two hosts were like, who are you and what have you done with our chief editor?
Why don't you like the technical thing? Yeah, exactly, Alex. That's what I was thinking. So we're going to start off by toasting the spaghetti. And it sounded like in some other recipes that I found online, and I only had time to glance briefly at some other recipes, but they usually toast them in a pan, but we're actually going to stick ours in the toaster oven for a little bit, just to kind of toast up. It's kind of similar about, when you toast rice in the pan before you add the liquid and start it cooking. Kind of a similar concept, kind of makes it more nutty. Although you don't often see it with pasta. It's kind of a unique thing to be doing it with pasta, so I'm curious to see how it'll actually affect the final taste of the noodles. Yeah, toasting spaghetti. This is a new one for me. I don't like the thing the tech company wanted to do instead of giving me the choice.
I think his point was he liked having maps on one screen and then media playing on the other screen via Bluetooth.
Yeah.
But he was still a madman. Yeah, we were watching the Food Network's weird morning show that literally just fills airtime during Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
And they had a recipe recently where they toasted pasta as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
It gets a slight nutty flavor. They cut their pasta too.
Well, we are going to be cutting this into smaller pieces once it's done toasting. So we'll be doing that as well. It's like a crime in Italy.
So the theme of the episode we caught was food crimes that you can somehow, or food rules that you can sometimes
Yeah, I was going to
break.
say, I didn't think they used the trendy term food crime. I think they were calling them rules that you can sometimes disobey.
Yep.
Okay, so let's get these in the oven. It says it's going to take about 7 to 10 minutes, so we'll do 7 minutes and check on it. Can you set a 7-minute timer for me, Stuart?
Sure thing.
And while that toasts, we'll get some onion chopped up. And did they remember to pack the fennel in our box?
I believe so.
Ah, yes, they did. I feel like there was one time they didn't remember. It was like, that's the key part of the recipe. Doesn't we do half the fennel? Do we use... Oh, yeah, we do. Okay. Good. All right. Someone somewhere will faint hearing that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that is a literal food crime in Italy. They'll arrest you. But no, there are certain recipes that it's okay to break up pasta.
Yeah, this is almost treating pasta like long rice.
Yeah.
Really long rice.
Kinda, yeah. Crimes against pastamanity.
Posthumanity.
Posthumanity. You're challenging me with words, difficult words after taking a few sips of beer. You think you had enough pasta cooking for a while? It looked like it. It looks like you did like that bulk recipe with spaghetti recently. So yeah, you're probably sick of pasta. I remember my mom telling me that when she first started cooking, she didn't know how to get spaghetti, the long, like what we put in the oven, the long strands of spaghetti to fit into a pot when she was boiling it for, like spaghetti bolognese or whatever. So she would break the pasta to get it into the pot, and she was like stunned when she realized you don't have to do that. The pasta starts to soften when it goes in the pot, so it just naturally kind of melts into the water after a few minutes. It really is amazing how far my mom has come cooking-wise. Because she basically started out knowing close to nothing.
Noodle posted a picture from the market earlier, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Totally missed that 30 minutes ago. I apologize.
Oh, dang, that does look pretty packed. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but with the celebration coming up, but yeah, that's tough. 30 portions worth, yeah. I feel like anything you have to cook to that level, you're kind of sick of it by the time you're done. When you were 9, you tried to melt cheese slices thinking you get nacho cheese. I think that's something everyone does when they're first trying or learning to cook and realizes, oh, it don't work that way. And if you're like me, then you start digging into the science of why doesn't it work, and you figure out a way around it. But I think most people, that's either a moment where you start to try and learn more about cooking, or you're like, cooking is not for me, and you don't try anything else. Okay, so fennel. Mailboxes don't often send fennel, so this is kind of a rare thing to be working with on a meal box recipe. And honestly, I don't think we've used fennel much outside of meal box recipes either. But it's really good. I'm a little hesitant using it tonight because it's mostly being used raw in a salad, and I'm usually not a fan of raw fennel because it has a very licoricey taste to it, and I don't typically like the flavor of licorice.
You could apply some heat.
Let's see, it says to finely chop half of the fennel and thinly slice the remaining, so assuming we're cooking some of it. If I can find where in the recipe it says to cook it. I assume somewhere. What? There it is. Okay, yes, we cook it with the onions at the base. So some of it is being cooked. The rest of it is being used as a salad. So I'm willing to give it a shot because it's been a while since I've had raw fennel, but it may not be my favorite part of the dish. We'll see.
So Zap's dinner looks really nice tonight. Some leftover red Thai curry with HEB coconut shrimp.
Oh wow, I didn't know HEB sold ready-made coconut shrimp. That looks awesome.
They look very tasty.
And you did the little mound of rice in the middle.
Yeah.
I think you just won Stuart's heart.
Alright, spaghetti's done.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can start to smell the spaghetti, so it probably is. Oh yeah, that is pretty much exactly where I wanted to be. Any further than this, and it would start to burn. So there we go. Much darker brown pasta.
Wow.
So we'll
sorry.
set that off to the side.
Also, I totally set a timer for 6 minutes instead of 7.
You knew. You knew. Well, thank you. You ended up saving the pasta. All right, so let's see. Let's cut this down the middle. And I'll do the smaller bit. I can never cut things evenly in half. I don't know what it is. But I'll do the smaller one for the salad, and I'll do the larger one to cut into smaller pieces for the sauce for our pasta. You even had to sling the palm leaf you got because you carry the dope. How you're trolling in that chaos. Oh gosh, yeah. So you're definitely happy to be out of there then. You're ready not to go to the market for a few weeks now since you didn't need to cook for 6 to 8 people per day. Yeah. You definitely made and was able to enjoy some great meals over the month though, so that is awesome. You have to get microwave rice, but just so you can get a shape form for your own rice.
We're having microwave rice for lunch tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, I think we told the story about Stuart's uncle was in town for a little bit for work.
And when he was leaving, he gave us his
Basically
Airbnb's
gave us everything
fridge.
he had left over, yeah. And we have this to use up. Tikka masala seasoned basmati rice, which was apparently something he left. So we'll be enjoying this for lunch this week.
Which it's funny because he also left us some Mexican pinto beans. And so when I originally saw it, I'm like, oh boy, rice and beans.
The completely different flavor profiles.
It's like, oh, one's Indian, one's Mexican.
I'm sure they would taste okay together, but certainly not a natural or typical pairing of flavors.
Yeah. But we had some leftover chicken from the orange chicken this week that we didn't fry. So it's getting curried instead. It was literally unloading groceries from the grocery store for the, it wasn't for the orange chicken. I think I just had to run to the store to get a birthday card for someone. And as I was unloading the groceries, Andrew was like, hey, I was thinking, we have that chicken. We should make rice for lunch. And I just reach into the bag and pull out a jar of curry sauce. He's like, oh yeah.
On the same wavelength. Good when that happens.
Although I should have gotten some onion, come to think of it.
Yes, very good boy. Very good boy sitting next to me, not barking, not jumping up. Very, very good boy.
This is what happens when he gets a walk in the afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't get a walk until later in the day today, so maybe he's a little bit calmer. I would say maybe I should start doing that more, but it's about to get too hot to do that.
Aw.
Alright, so there is our... Oh, now you jump up. Now that you got your reward, you're taking advantage of it. I see. Afternoon walk and no garbage day, yes. He basically just barks at anything he's not sure what the noise is, which, you know, I guess I understand that. I think he kind of learned that behavior from
My parents' dogs.
your parents' dogs, because they bark at any noise that happens, and I feel like I was getting to the point of
Training it out of him.
training him not to do that,
there
and
for several weeks.
but he keeps going back and keeps relearning it, so. Alright, so then for this last little bit of fennel, I'll try to cut this as thinly as I can. So yeah, he'll bark at the trash cans because they make a noise. He'll bark at the sound of trucks beeping because he thinks a delivery person's about to come to the door.
We got our mailbox today, and then like 10 minutes later, Amazon came. It's like, it never ends.
I got a picture. The people who deliver the mailbox take a picture to prove that the box has been delivered, like Amazon does sometimes. And the picture they sent today was one of those ones that has, you can see Buster in the window barking at the person delivering the box.
Yeah, I've got a, out here, actually.
He'll sometimes even bark at planes if they're flying low enough and it freaks him out enough, like catches him off guard, he'll bark at that too.
This is an older picture.
Yeah. I like delivery persons who do that, or people who do that, because I feel like they must be dog people, or just at least appreciating or amused by the fact that they're getting barked at. Alright, so we'll save this fennel for the salad. This could be a pretty small salad, so I'll just... because basically a fennel and parsley salad, so I'm just going to put this into a small bowl for later.
We've got a little bit of our salad greens from last week, if you want to add them to there, if they still look good.
The stuff we got with the Easter
Yep.
deal. Yeah, I'll see if it's still good. It might not be.
I should have had it for lunch today, but I was like, I
You know
could
what?
have salad today, or I could get my free queso for my birthday.
Oh, you made the right choice there. Thinking of the Easter stuff reminded me that we still have some ham, and ham would actually kind of go in this dish if you wanted to augment it with some leftover ham.
Sure, it's up to you. I know you don't like augmenting things the first time you make them, but we have a lot of ham, you guys.
We do have a lot of ham, and I think a slice of ham might actually it will go well with the nutty pasta and the shrimp. And it gives me a chance to get the shrimp out of the fridge too. Buster, back up, please. You can't lick it. It's in the plastic. It doesn't taste of anything. That doesn't stop you from trying, but... Okay, I'll just grab these because they're already nicely separated and ready to go. Tell that to your cat, Monster. Does your cat like plastic as well? Buster doesn't usually do that, but I think he's realized that, oh, that bottom drawer usually has meat in it, and meat smells good. Maybe I can steal a taste. You'd think he'd learn by now, though, that, oh, this doesn't taste of anything, it just tastes of plastic, but... he keeps trying. See those biting plastic bag handles? Okay. Pets are weird sometimes. You're weird! He just looked at me like,
rude.
Yeah. How dare you? How dare you accuse me of such things? let's see what else we have to chop up. I know we have to do parsley for that salad, but we can do that later. Garlic. Oh yes, we definitely need garlic. I'm not gonna omit the garlic. She's protecting you from the choking hazard. Alright, it says 2 teaspoons of garlic, so I think 4 cloves should be good for that. There we go. Caesar Buster A2, father. Yeah, probably not wrong. Need the handles for tying the rubbish up, though. Yes. She's helping, though. You're being a good boy, but if I reward you again, you're just gonna jump up after you get your reward. Buster Shakespeare, the playwright of our generation. Alright, we're just finally chopping up this garlic. And then I think we can get cooking once it's chopped up.
I'm afraid I think another dog's already got dibs on being Shakespeare dog. There was a show on PBS growing up called Wishbone.
Oh yeah, Wishbone.
Where it was half live action kids running around having elementary school or middle school drama or whatever, and half their dog running around with them having daydreams about whatever English assignment they just got.
Yeah, it was definitely a PBS show.
And so it was always like Romeo and Juliet or The Legend of Sleepy Hollow or, you know, other classic literary tales being told via dog.
They got the perfect dog for that too.
Yep.
This is the first year you have yet started baking cookies. Is it, how do you pronounce that? Is it, I apologize for not knowing. Is it Eid? 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 But I hope it's not too much of a...
I think man, I'm gonna butcher this, but I really believe that I might have heard it before as
I've never heard it pronounced before.
Eid al-Fitr.
Eid?
I hope I didn't butcher that too much. Zap says the UK pronunciation is Eid.
Is Eid? Okay. Well, anyway, I was just gonna say, I hope it's not too difficult to do that prep and cooking. so that it's not doesn't bite you too much for holding off on making them.
I always had this like most interesting team dynamics when it came to go Young Zap for remembering about cultures.
I feel like I probably learned it at one point, but it would have been a long time ago, and for some reason, I guess since I don't watch things much anymore, I read things more than watch things, and so I haven't actually heard it pronounced recently. But yeah, congratulations, Young Zap, for remembering that. Because yeah, the thing I love a lot, I didn't love it at the time, but looking back, I realize how awesome it is that UK schools have a religion class. And it's not one religion, they teach you about all religions, which, yes, I think that needs to be a thing that's done everywhere. So I feel like I must have learned it at some point, but... It's pronounced like it has two E's. Okay, cool. Thank you, Noodle.
Oh man, I was gonna say something, but I totally forgot. Oh, I remember what it was. I was on a support team for my company's website on my previous role at my company, and so we had international peeps. We had US folk, we had somebody in Brazil for when the US was out, we had Indian folk, we had Malaysian folk, and there was somebody we could drag in from Japan. We had global coverage.
I'll say, gosh. I feel bad for those who it wasn't a good time for doing a call, but...
Yeah, it was interesting. We had to do a lot of 7:30 phone calls for team syncs and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Or often 8 o'clock. I think the Americans on that team were very lazy and were like, I can't wake up 30 minutes earlier. You kidding me? And the US has daylight savings time where a lot of the world doesn't. So usually we would get a little bit further away from India and it would become slightly less helpful for them trying to have phone calls with us or just get FaceTime. Mm-hmm. But one of my Muslim coworkers just shifted his entire work schedule during Ramadan.
Oh, yeah.
And since we're a global company, he's just like, hey, can I move my working hours 4 or 5 hours earlier than they currently are?
Yeah, for sure.
He just woke up at 2 a.m. his time and worked during the day or during the night. At least I think so. I hope he's allowed to do that with Ramadan. I thought it was mostly a fasting thing.
Yeah, I mean, from a fasting perspective, I feel like that makes sense because you have the morning meal, so it's...
Yeah. Oh, I just meant, I hope that it's not a don't work on the Sabbath day sort of thing. I doubt it would be for a month-long thing. But anyways, it was just funny because for a month out of the year, he would suddenly get a ton more FaceTime with us.
Mm-hmm. All right, this is heating up. Oh, we need to get a new battery for our infrared thermometer. I think it literally just died.
Oh, can I see it?
I think it takes a 9-volt.
It does.
Yeah, so I don't know if we have a 9-volt.
Oh, we got a whole box of them.
Yeah. Oh, the Chemical Brothers are playing tonight. Wow.
Oh, nice.
As a kid, you definitely remember Eid and Ramadan. Yeah. I don't. So I don't know what that says about me.
There wasn't
I guess I didn't have any Muslim friends.
There wasn't a lot of acknowledgement of Muslim holidays in the U.S.
That's true.
When we were growing up.